His face was a very strong aquiline, with high bridge of the thin nose and peculiarly arched nostrils, with lofty domed forehead and hair growing scantily round the temples, but profusely elsewhere. His eyebrows were very massive, almost meeting over the nose, and with bushy hair that seemed to curl of its own profusion. The mouth, so far as I could see it under the heavy mustache, was fixed and a rather cruel looking, with peculiarly sharp white teeth. These protruded over the lips, whose remarkable ruddiness showed the astonishing vitality in a man of his years. For the rest, his ears were pale, and at the tops extremely pointed. The chin was broad and strong, and the cheeks firm, though thin. The general effect was one of extraordinary pallor. After hearing that passage from Bram Stoker's book describing the Count, many people feel they can capture his essence and persona. This is extremely prevalent in films and television. For example, in 1931, Count Dracula was portrayed by Bela Lugosi. In 1992, in Bram Stoker's Dracula, Gary Oldman portrayed the Count. Both portrayals stayed truer to the novel's description than the alternative approaches, such as how The Simpsons decided to portray Dracula in the Treehouse of Horrors in 1993, or in 1995 when Leslie Nielsen played the Count in Dracula, Dead and Loving It. It gave a more humorous approach than the classic character and portrayal in the book. Regardless, none of the portrayals are exactly what Bram Stoker wrote in Dracula and what he envisioned the Count to look like. This shows the creative capabilities afforded to text, which film is unable to capture. Where text can allow the reader imagination, film forces the person to see exactly what the director wishes. These limitations can be observed with another example. Close your eyes and imagine a calm, placid beach. The wind is gently blowing over the cattails growing on the dunes of powdery white sand. An old log upon the top of the dune overlooks a gentle yet restless Atlantic Ocean in the distance. Keep this peaceful late afternoon scene in your mind and open your eyes. Previously, when the passage is read to 5 people, 5 individual mental images of a peaceful beach were conjured in each person's mind. Once the image was captured using film, a definite scene described by the text is seen by the observer and realized by the mind's eye. If the passage was read again, the mental images conjured would all tend towards the picture from the film instead of what the reader imagined from his past experiences. Creative and individual imagination are stifled once a definitive image is seen and accompanied by the textual passage. All of this kept in mind, film is not the only medium with limitations. If a person is trying to learn from a written description, step-by-step instructions, and low-resolution images how to dance the tango, it will be nearly impossible. Text is a poor medium of choice for a person attempting to learn a new skill because of the inability to visualize what exactly to do. Just by simple inspection, the pictures and text attempting to teach the tango seem vastly more difficult to learn to dance from than the film clip. While text allows the reader leeway to imagine their own scene, if the reader knows nothing about the skill they are learning, the limitation by the media to learn is nearly insurmountable. It's easy to see throughout history that different forms of media afford the genius to be portrayed in different mediums. For example, the passage read through Dracula earlier, a simple paragraph and a half describing a man, has been spawned into almost 500 different forms of Dracula throughout film. Text allows imagination to run wild and to allow the observer or the reader to take it where they want it to go. However, once this is being done and the observer has seen a film about this text or has seen a picture, their creativity and their imagination is automatically forced to be narrowed to a certain picture or a certain place. Whereas before, if you had 5 different people read the previous text, you would have 5 different accounts of the scene they imagined. This is one of the limitations that film affords in where text is greatly, vastly superior. However, if the person is trying to learn how to play the guitar, or the person is trying to learn the tango, and they're not familiar with the material, it's impossible for the person to understand and therefore picture or think or imagine what the text is trying to portray. So if you have mechanical steps being told to you through text, it does nothing and can compare nowhere near to as well as when a person sees a film of it, of two people dancing, or watches a video of a person playing a guitar. One of the limitations of text is the requirement that the person must know exactly what the text is talking about. This just goes to show that various media have always and will always have different limitations. In different times, pros and cons will be better to show what the genius is trying to think. In different times when it would be a terrible choice.